so I danced pretty aggressively for 16 years. But then I just realized quickly it wasn't for me. I was kind of thrown on the air last minute one morning, and that was that. That was the first show I did. I made a pretty big mistake, but that never happened again. When one of the ABC audio anchors, she went in the studio with me, and I start talking. And then she cuts me off and says, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing here? You need to be on the air. You're never going to be on the air if you stay here. Don't improv until you're ready to. You need to write it down if you're not confident.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 23 Journeys, a network for creatives. I am your host, Thato Datsun, with my lovely wife, Naomi Joy.
We are back again.
We are back again, and today we are diving into the world of radio with someone who's got a lot of energy, a voice, and a drive to match. She's a rising force in the broadcasting and storytelling behind the mic, and someone who's built her path through hard work and strong connections. I'm talking about none other than Kate Braunstein. Whether you're curious about breaking into radio or listening how to learn and use your voice in your brand, you'll want to learn and listen to this one. Let's dive in. Kate, how you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have
It's
you.
my first podcast I've actually done.
Well, welcome.
Wow.
At least in this area.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
So.
Cool. So we get to be the first ones for you. I mean, you've been able to do radio and interview people with that. So I mean, it's probably kind of similar.
Yeah. It is. I mean, the last time I really interviewed somebody with like my own questions was college.
Oh, wow.
So I did one interview at ABC. That was with Shannon Miller, gymnast Olympian.
Right.
That was one of the times professionally, but mostly college, I was able to kind of have more leeway with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then with college, so let's go back and you getting started. So what did you study in college? You know, what got you all started with everything?
Well, I was actually a dancer my whole life. So I danced pretty aggressively for 16 years. So I was going to do dance in college and try to be a dance major throughout, maybe get a master's in dance, join a dance company in the city. Like that's what I wanted to do. But then I just realized quickly it wasn't for me because you need to keep your health up, and that's really dangerous. It's like an athlete, so there's a lot of risk with that. So I thought, okay, well, what else can I do? I'm like, I don't really know what communications is, but because I wasn't thinking about it as an 18-year-old, I had other things like, am I going to fit in at school type thing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, major will come eventually. But I did communication studies first, but I came into school undeclared. So I went to Montclair State in North Jersey, and that was where I auditioned for dance, didn't get in for dance, but still got into the school. So I got there undeclared for the first semester and then did communication studies. But then I noticed that there was a lot more in the realm of media I wanted to explore, like TV classes, film classes, production, PR, everything was under communication and media arts. So if I took that major instead, which was the easiest switch in the world,
Yeah.
then I could have more classes count that I actually wanted to take. So that involved a lot of extra stuff with radio too, because there were some classes for radio, but I primarily did the radio station there. It was like an extracurricular activity. So
Very cool. And that's good. So you got the school training and everything, and
The school had a radio
There you go. That's
program.
what
Yeah, it
and all.
did.
So
Mhm.
is that then when you realized that this could be an avenue of like a career path then?
Yeah.
When you got introduced there?
I was intimidated by the technology. I'm not going to lie, like the soundboards, the microphones, the everything like that. I was really attracted to the talking part of it, but I knew that sometimes that's harder if you want to do that over behind the scenes. So I knew I had to kind of go into the radio club, if you will, behind the mic already.
Yeah.
I couldn't go in as like a strictly board up type. You kind of have to go into what you want to do instead of trying to. Sometimes it's good to like go to one thing and then work your way up, but sometimes it's better just to go right to it. So I just went right to it, and I was kind of thrown on the air last minute one morning, and that was that. That was the first show I did.
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
have you always found yourself to be like an outgoing person, like
Mhm.
loving to talk and everything? So it was
Yeah.
almost like a little bit, probably a little nerve wracking, but still kind of almost second nature then to be behind the mic and all talking.
Yep. I actually was promoting a different organization on campus when I went to the radio's Welcome Week. So they have this thing called Welcome Week. And that's when the first time I like sat behind a microphone, I'm like, oh, we're actually live. Like this is actually being broadcast. And I was talking about something completely different. So I used that as like a break into the station just to kind of get to know some people there and things like that. But that was like, yeah, the first moment I like spoke into a mic, I liked the feeling of it. I mean, we know it's fun.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, we know it's fun. We have to watch what we say behind them though. But
Yeah. It's a lot of, it's his own skill, you know, being behind the mic. You know, I had done a little bit of work in radio a few years back. And one thing that I was like trained on was we got to be careful of dead air
yes.
and whatnot, because you can get fined or in trouble with that. So Naomi had mentioned to me before because we were filming some other episodes, and I would keep on talking and everything, and that's where I kind of learned it from, is that whole dead air. So that's why sometimes it may seem like I'm blah 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 blah, but I'm like
We're worried.
I'm just like
We're
I gotta make
worried.
sure we don't have any dead air.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm not radio. I'm not doing that anymore. You know, I can take my time, take a breath.
Sure.
So when you said that there was one Saturday morning when you finally got behind the mic for the radio and stuff, how did that initially come about then to be able to be behind the mic? Did they need somebody else? Like, did somebody not show or what? How'd that come about?
Oh, thrown in last minute in the
Yeah.
college station. So it wasn't quite like that. The last minute, I call it that because I had no experience writing news at all. I just joined the major. I didn't get that far yet in my classes. So I had to write my own newscast. I didn't know how to do that. And I had to pick stories for the whole show. Didn't know how to do that either because I had never done that before. So I joined one week. It was like a Thursday. And then at the meeting, the news director said, yeah, just, write the newscast and deliver it. And Monday morning, 7:00. I'm like, okay. So I had a couple days to really kind of figure out what I wanted to do. So last minute, they were creating the schedule for the morning show. And they had the new news team come in, which was like, welcome week, welcome freshmen, whoever wants to join the station, that's a sophomore. We all kind of just went to the respective teams in the station that we were interested in, like news, music, sports. So that was I was part of that group, but I was the first show to test it out on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Because it was not on the weekends. So the new people, I was the first new-ish person to have to do that. I have never done that before. So that was an experience.
How do you think it went?
It went okay, but I made a pretty big mistake.
Oh, no.
I made a pretty big mistake, but it was something that they had mentioned a few days prior, and I was so nervous, I forgot a few things. So when it's a hard-hitting story, like a tragedy, or a mass situation, then you don't make that a news story to talk about throughout the show. That's a headline. So that's like in the newscast portion of like the first part of the show because it's serious. The rest of the show is like trending topics, like the Google Pixel was created while I was in college. The first Google Pixel. That's a discussion too. You could talk about phones. Is it overrated or underrated to have so many? A new upgrade that's conversational. But something like a tragedy, you want to kind of mention and then get out of the way. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just accidentally made that one of the longer ones. And we had to cut to break. I'm like, oh no. But that never happened again. So
Yeah. Learn
Yeah.
your lesson and move on from that, right?
first show, one and done.
Now, now being working in radio, radio is very competitive. So what did you do? You gave us a story about your college days. What did you do to get yourself to stand out and start landing your first like more paid gigs?
It really boils down to taking the initiative. It's easier than you think it is. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to kind of just go out of your way to do some extra stuff that really makes the world a difference. It's cheesy and cliche, but I think it's true. And when I was at ABC, that was the job I got out of college. very blessed to have that job. I was, because that was rare to get. And I had like connections for networking and things like that to make sure that I had gotten to that place. So to start there was fantastic. And I would record, because we were allowed to go into the studios as associate producers and record some audio if we wanted to of ourselves. We were allowed to do that. So on my overnight shifts, which got really lonely quite a few times because it's quiet, it's dark, it's spooky. You always wonder if there's like a horror movie producer around the corner. It's a lot. So I would go into the studio instead and just record what the anchors did, the paid anchors, like 2 anchors did. And I would just get a sample of it. And I would then ask the anchor, hey, I recorded this the other week or the other day. Can you take a look at it or listen to it? Just what do you think? And that was when one of the ABC audio anchors, Daria Albinger, she still does it. She said to me, she cut me off actually, because she had listened to one and then she kind of was just like forgot kind of how it sounded. And then one time we were both working the same shift and then she went in the studio with me and I start talking and then she cuts me off and says, whoa, 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 stop. Wait, what are you doing here? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you need to be on the air. You're never going to be on the air if you stay here. Like you're in New York City. You're never going to do that here.
So she noticed your talent and all right from there, from hearing your voice.
That meant the world to me. It really did. Like she was just a cool lady. I'm talking, yeah, she is a cool lady. She still is a cool lady. I kind of have lost touch with her over the years because, you know, messages can kind of get lost or with DMs, you don't know how often they check and things like that. But she was the first person to say that. And for someone who had been a professional in the #1 media market to say that is huge.
That's a lot of validation.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, someone's kind of reassuring me I'm kind of on the right path here, at least initially. So,
yeah.
So she would be probably like your first mentor.
Kind of, yeah.
In all this. Were there any other people that you say along the path that had helped you along the path that you could like mention?
Sure. So I would say Chuck Severson. These are ABC people. I'll go ABC people, then other people. So ABC people, say Chuck Severson. He was like my second dad. He was such a sweetheart. I would say Chris Barry. He was one of my assignment editors. So people like that, just being patient enough with me, but encouraging at the same time. Not everybody was encouraging. I mean, that's how life is, you know. But I would say those two especially. I also loved, she was so quirky, Michelle Franson. She was awesome up there. So I had a lot of help from people my age and a little bit older than me. We were very funny together. We would laugh together a lot. A lot of people from News 1 and then the TV anchors that we all know, like David Muir, Gio Benitez. Like if you turn on ABC right now, Trevor Alt, all of them. I worked, Aaron Katursky, all of them in the same stratosphere within because they would come down and do audio recordings as TV hosts, but they would record it for us.
Right.
So we would have a direct line to the TV people also. And then in college, Annabella Poland, she was my general manager at the radio station. So she was the former director of booking, I believe, at Sirius XM for years and years before she came to MSU to guide students through the world of radio and audio and things like that. She's made a big impact on the school. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then for someone who's so you how did you get that first job with ABC? Like, was it through the school or do you apply?
I mean, I definitely sent in an application, but I was contacted by my GM at the time at the radio, Annabella, and she said, apply for this. And when your, kind of mentor says, apply for this, you have a feeling that there's a reason why they're saying that,
Yeah.
So it's like, I took her very seriously, and I did. I just sent it in because she wasn't on the email chain between me and then the hiring manager or the person who was hiring me, She just recommended it because she knew some people there, but was I directly mentioned? I don't know. I wasn't part of those conversations. So I sent my application in anyway, and then I interviewed with them alone. She wasn't part of it or anything. So she may have recommended, but I just don't have confirmation on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's more of like
But
a
I was the station manager. I was her station manager. So
yeah.
if that was why, that was why,
Or it could have been because she thought that you would be perfect for this position she saw come up too,
Yeah,
also as well and all. Because networking, it sometimes is directly connecting you with people, and then
sure.
sometimes it's seeing the opportunities there and being like, oh, I know somebody that would be great with this and
Right.
all. So
Yeah. Because networking, no, we have your mentor could have been talking to somebody, like you
Could have been,
said.
yeah.
And then networking too, like Naomi just said, she could just see that the raw talent. Maybe she also saw the talent that the other person at ABC
Maybe.
had seen too, and just like, no,
Yeah.
you should apply for this because you're made for better things.
Yeah. And I ended up working alongside a lot of my classmates actually in the same job,
oh,
the
that's
same
cool.
role. We would rotate in and out for shifts, and we would be in the same job. That was cool. I
And you can
missed
kind
that.
of build off of each other and what you guys have learned over the years too.
Yeah. Now he's a history teacher though in a public school in North Jersey, so he's not in the business anymore, but
Yeah,
for the time we did, that was cool.
yeah. Well, I can even speak from my own experience. I went to school in Newcastle, Delaware, Wilmington University, and I had a whole bunch of people. We all graduated together, and in the first few years, I mean, I think everybody was still trying to go after film, television, and everything. I could literally say, looking at my hand and counting off my hand, like there's maybe like 3 to 4 of us that are still using our degree,
Yeah.
like going after what we wanted to do.
Right.
A lot of people said, forget it, go work. And nothing wrong if you want to work in banking or you switch up,
Mhm.
you pivot in life, and it goes, you travel and you go through everything. We had a conversation on LinkedIn, which
Yeah.
which I thought was really great when you had mentioned that you basically we like to talk about you shoot your shot.
Right.
Let's talk about that story, like
Yeah.
how you were able to you say, you know what, let me just shoot this over here to this person, see if it'll work, and it took you to your next
Yeah.
one.
It did. So I had been out of the industry for 2 years at that point, and that was after I left ABC voluntarily in 2020. So for about 2 years, I did not do that. I just worked in restaurants, retail, wanted to kind of refine my footing. I didn't know if I wanted to stay in media, to be honest, because my end was weird up there. So I didn't know if I wanted to continue. And then I still had those voice recordings from ABC when I was in the studios, just on the overnight, finish my work and everything. And I saw a job for anchor on LinkedIn for KYW News Radio. I'm like, oh, well, why don't we try? So I took those recordings, as silly as they sounded, because a lot of them were really silly. One of them was kind of like an inside joke, but I sent it in anyway, and they contacted me. I could not believe that they did that. I still can't believe it.
That's cool because it's like you
Yeah.
took your opportunity when you had the downtime at the studio and all
Mhm.
to practice, get those clippings and all. So then when you did see this, you were able to submit these clippings for it. So it's like if you hadn't already prepared yourself and done those things in the past, you wouldn't have even had those audio files to send over
And
either.
never thinking it would actually work.
Mhm.
Never thinking it would actually work.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, and that's how it's. What was the motto that we used to say? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Exactly. Yep.
You took that effort. There we go. Opportunity meets preparation, or is it preparation meets opportunity?
Yep.
And you had everything, and now you're still at KYW.
Yeah.
Doing the news.
Yeah, I still am. Yeah.
Now with radio, a lot of people think of it as more of like a solo. It's you, the mic and stuff, and your script that you might be reading or anything. But
Yeah.
what are like the other behind the scenes relationship building moments that occur that goes into the radio?
So like with coworkers or like,
Yeah, just in general, because it's not
Mhm.
you. Your job isn't just you and the mic. There's a lot of other preparation
Yeah,
that goes into
oh,
it. There's a lot of
okay.
other behind the scenes of everything. So what's that like?
So this was the weirdest feeling. I felt like I switched spots with my old self working with some of the people I work with, meaning when I first got there, they were treating me like very sweet in the sense of, oh, I got this for you. I'll get this for you. Like, oh, is there anything else I can do for this show? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm not used to that. Like, what are you asking me? Oh my gosh. Like, is this good that I feel flattered? I don't know. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's cool. Like, take your time writing organizing the show, right? So the editor really puts together, they're the choreographer, if I'm talking in dance terms. They're like the choreographer. They organize the order of everything. They keep track of the breaking news. They put that in there. They write the news. They cut the news, the audio. They put it in. They do so much. They don't get enough appreciation. They're like the unsung heroes of the whole show.
Yeah.
And then the news production assistant, they're just right next to the editor on the same like desk pane, and they keep track of a lot of the like weather people that come in live if they do a live weather report, changing like our anchor dashboard in our studio. So it's a joint effort between the two of them, but the editor does a lot of heavy lifting. The news production assistant, though, they also do a lot. So I don't want to discredit anyone for their work. You know what I mean? On weekdays, there's a writer. So the writer just does a lot of extra help work with the editor because there's a lot going on. Weekdays, like right now. So the writer's job is to kind of take the writing burden off of the editor so they can focus more on what's coming in, rereading and listening to the reporters' pieces. So they have a lot of stuff to do. So the writer's really there to just take that burden off. And then you also have, obviously, are like the bosses of the newsroom, if you will, who direct everything, like how, so of course you have them, right? So the other reporters, though, how do I put this? If the editor is the choreographer, the reporters are like the dancers.
They're putting on
So
what was
they're
written.
the ones who do every audio piece, and every piece that goes in the show is a reporter's work. Lots of heavy lifting too. My job as anchor is the host of the show, delivering the whole show in the package, delivering the package to the audience.
And keeping it all kind of concise. So,
Yeah.
you would start the show like how I go, like, hey, everyone, it's Thato and 23 Journeys. And
Sure.
then as we're going through the show, it's like, oh, we have a report from Bob Smith. And
Sure.
write that, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they're live, sometimes it's pre-recorded. Most times it's pre-recorded, unless it's like a big major event like a presidential election or any type of big event. It could be a Super Bowl. Like I reported Super Bowl. That was fun. That was fun 2 years ago. But yeah.
Oh, you didn't get to do this one?
No, I didn't do this one. No.
Oh, I bet you.
No.
We probably would have lost your voice doing this one.
I was watching the game this time. That was my time. I went to work, I think that morning. Yeah. I think I did it in the morning on purpose, just so I would be free for the night.
Good planning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're Eagles fans here, so
I still can't believe it.
two times Super Bowls.
But that was a blowout.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that made no sense. I was literally, we were sitting there, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be.
I couldn't
Whoa.
imagine what I was like, I can relax. I'm not nervous. Like, ugh. I mean, 2 years ago, I was like, Jalen had, more yards than Mahomes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He played better than him both times.
right.
That was just unfortunate.
Right. I mean, this time, I think
This was redemption.
Yeah.
It happened.
it was redemption arc for sure. I mean, defense came in really good. I mean,
Mhm.
well, we're not a sports podcast, so we're not going to get too much.
No,
into
that's
that,
That's
fine.
We'll have a special episode now.
Yeah, right. We'll save it. Networking with sports people. It's like-
Networking with sports people. Hey, make it happen.
Oh, well, speaking of networking, so how would you say is your personal approach to networking? Are
Yeah.
you do you like to do more in-person networking, or are you an online networker? Like, what's your strategies?
I like to go online to go in person. I don't like connecting online if it's just going to be a virtual relationship with anybody. I much prefer like, okay, let's make a plan. Let's meet up. Let's talk through things, if that's even what it gets to. But for me, I think online has its perks, but I think people just like to stay there too much.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to make that in-person connection because I'm big on in-person connections.
Now, do you
Ask my
feel
friends; they'll tell you.
do you feel
Yeah.
like a lot of those in-person connections come from more face-to-face people you already know then making
hmm
connections and all
Yeah.
versus the online and then in person?
Yeah, I just like I don't like having losing connections like that because I feel like online I'm just going to lose that connection. If I'm in person, if we've like gone, I don't know, out together, talking about stuff, making memories, even friendships with each other, like I don't want to lose that. And if I just am like chatting with you, it's not the same dynamic. So
True. True.
I don't know if that's weird.
No, no,
But
it's not weird at all. I'm more of a if you compare just me and Naomi, like I'm the person I go out to events. I like to meet people.
mhm.
I call people. A lot of people are more on texting and everything. I like to call people. I like to
Me too.
actually like hear people's voices and like have a conversation and and such. But then there's other
Yeah.
people like Naomi's more of an introvert. She would do better, emailing or like texting and everything. At least initiate, and then
Yeah.
eventually, meet up in person or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then with the like a busy schedule as a working in radio too,
Mhm.
like how do you ever feel like you don't have time to network, or how do you keep yourself from getting like burned out like with tight schedules and everything?
Oh, I mean, because I am only like there kind of on the weekends, I have more time than I would like to have, but I usually try to use that time to send out a lot of invites. Then I always have kind of like a ratio in my head of like likes, comments, reposts. They like to know that you're sharing their stuff too
Yeah.
Mhm.
on any social app to drive traction. So that's also a good way to just let them know, like, hey, I'm supporting you in your endeavors, whatever they are. And it creates a good grounds for a good relationship, I think.
I think it's a good way
Yeah.
to stay connected too in those in between times when you can't meet up face
Yeah.
to face. Cause then it's
hmm
like you might have met at like, say, an event somewhere and all, and then you keep in touch a little bit, but now you're back together for another event and all. So it's like
Yeah.
those little touches in between keep that relationship going instead of trying to
hmm
restart all back over and be like, oh, yeah, I met you here and I did this. Now, if you're
Mm.
touching base with them throughout, then it's kind of like you're staying in front of them.
I don't know if there's enough events out there. There needs to be more, I think. I don't know. I feel like since COVID, people don't want to go out and do like events with strangers and things like that for networking.
There's some great people that
Yeah.
I could actually get you introduced to
Sure.
because you're in Jersey.
Yeah.
One of our former guests and a good friend of mine, Chris Giddings.
Okay.
He has a company
Sure.
called Cogent Connections,
Uh-huh.
and I go to his events all the time. I actually was at a karaoke event with him.
That
We're
sounds
about
like
to
so much
do the
fun.
sauna and cold plunge
Sauna cold plunge.
networking event thing that they
Mm.
have coming up too and all.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I
so
was like, it's like interesting things. So it's like you're networking and everything, getting to know people, but also doing interesting and fun stuff along with it.
Sure.
yeah,
Oh,
so
wow. That's awesome.
yeah, definitely.
Lucky.
So check out Chris Giddings, guys. um, and then on social media, what are your favorite apps to use? I know we met on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What do you like to use to network or connect?
I use Instagram probably more than I should for that. I'm kind of trying to move that to LinkedIn, kind of get it away from Instagram. But I don't know. You find a lot of good shows on Instagram, the
Yeah.
reels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know if it's bad to have Instagram kind of be my main way. Obviously, Snapchat I don't use for that at all. That's just more fun, so fluff. Facebook depends. I'm getting more like tight with Facebook, like deleting people I don't talk to anymore, just kind of
Mhm.
making more space for, I don't want everyone seeing everything all the time, like
Yeah.
that you're doing in your life. So
Yeah.
it's
I
kind
kind
of
of
more.
I kind of keep my Facebook is more family or really, really close friends that I have connections with. And then
Mhm.
I have like LinkedIn and stuff for more of like the business connections and all on
Sure.
that side. But I agree with you with the Instagram, with the reels and all. Like they dominate with the reels.
They do. Oh, they do. I found a whole new cooking channel last night that I love now because of reels. So useful. They're so useful. They really are. TikTok though is where I'm putting a lot of my radio stuff right now though.
Right.
Yeah. That's the easiest way right now.
Do you
Yeah.
put up clips of you actually hosting then the radio? Is that what you're putting on TikTok?
Yeah,
and stuff?
so I'm like putting sorry, I like bumped. I am. So I'm just putting on a lot of the newscasts that we do. It's just me reading a segment of our show called Three Things to Know, which is like at the quarter hour. So 3 Things to Know, me talking about that. That's what's up right now. So I have a lot of that up.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, what were some of your key skills that you had to develop along the way for radio hosting, or things that you had to unlearn as well?
Don't improv until you're ready to, for sure. Because sometimes you can just go on a tangent ad-libbing, especially when we do like our little weather part at the end of the show. Like we have 3 weather reports per half hour. The first 2 are recorded or they're live from another meteorologist. And then the last one is us kind of ad-libbing it. If you're not ready to, write it in a script. Write it in a script. You're not cheesy. You're doing something right.
That's good.
You need to write it down if you're not confident. So don't do it till you're ready. Eventually you'll build those chops, but not until it's going to work out. Then also you have to, this is going to again sound weird, but like breath stamina, learning to control like what you eat during a radio shift because, you know, you don't want anything upsetting your stomach. You want to eat healthy. It's almost like you're about to, in a different type of way, run a marathon, and you want to be focused and you want to really focus on like mind and body when you're doing a job like that. Because if you're not feeling good, you're not going to think right, and you cannot be wrong when you're broadcasting to a massive audience. So
very true.
Don't forget that.
Plus, also too, with you said you have to watch what you eat too. The first thing when you said that, I thought of like you don't want to burp on air or something. Like that's what
The amount of burps that like happen and they shouldn't. I have had so few times, luckily, but the ones that I've had, I've been like, okay, that was a burp. Like, there's no way to hide it sometimes. Sometimes there is, but you can turn the mic off. Quickly try, but quickly.
Yeah.
And then it goes right back on if you're mid-sentence.
Oof.
You have no time to. So that's why carbonated water, not bad at all. Recommend that.
Right.
If you're going to go into this.
And then did you have to do like a lot of exercise like for your diaphragm and all then to like stay and be able to continuously deliver your sentences?
Yeah, and you can experiment with it a lot. It can change over time, like your pacing and everything. But I did a lot of choir like growing up, so I was kind of used to like the warm-ups and like the things and you know all
Yeah.
that stuff. I was used to it. I'm like, okay, I've done choir. I actually have choir rehearsal tonight. That's going to be fun. But so like because of that, I was used to certain ways to get in the zone before a performance, like with vocals, because dance is a different type of prep than vocal. So because of that, I kind of took that into radio. How long is the sentence? Where are you going to go up with your voice, down with your voice? Oh, you need to think about that ahead of time. The tone of each story matters. You're not going to be talking all happy about something tragic. So
There's just
hey
guys, there's a shooting. Whoa. Like
yeah, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Throughout the business, you'd be surprised. I've heard some crazy things like, because I listen to other stations throughout the country just for fun.
Yeah.
I've heard some things.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, whoa, that's not happy. Okay.
It's cool too because I feel like dance almost prepared you because it's like radio is more audio versus dance is physical and visual, but it's still a performance in the end because it's like even with dance, you're interpreting the mood of the dance that you're trying to portray and everything and all. And then with the audio, you're doing the same thing now just with your vocal cords.
Yeah. So I always say that like performance goes in like a million different directions. Athletes perform, you know,
Yeah.
just a different type every time.
Okay. And then working as in the radio industry, you know, you mentioned hosts. You're the host. You've mentioned writers, you know, the producers, editors, and such. Now, what about somebody who is they work in music or whatnot? And I know you do more news radio, but like, what are some things that you've seen? Like, how can somebody in that area kind of get involved in the radio industry? And whatnot, because I mean, obviously we have talk radio where people you know, they have music and you know they play people's songs and such. But you know,
that's fun.
but yeah, give us any insight on that.
So it's always good to just get your foot in the door to start when like the position I talked about earlier, the news production assistant that we have working with us to get all the shows ready with us. That's a great first step. That's a great way to do enough to learn and to do something really big that's a huge part of the show, but also see how everyone else works. Then from there, you can either choose to move up kind of in the writing direction or the editing direction. That's kind of typically how our MPAs go. Usually that's the direction anyway. But you could do in like the sports talk radio, same thing. Those like part-time entry level type positions, don't take them for granted. Because that'll kind of even if you're then applying to like a music station and only music, let's say, they're going to see that you've done radio. You know how to operate a board, you know timings, you know how to cut in and out of things. That translates.
Yeah.
It really does. So.
Yeah. Because also, too, you said even when you were doing that other position, that's when you started networking with a lot of people and all to be able to advance then. So it works.
Also, it never hurts to shoot someone a message and say, oh, I played your piece yesterday, even if they're in Georgia. You know, message them. Say, I heard your piece. I loved this. Can you tell me more about that story? If you want to even say that. But that's a great way to just say, hey, we both work for the same like company. Even if we don't, you're a journalist, I'm a journalist. Let's chat.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and that was like, so that goes in with your online networking
Totally.
perfectly. And then what advice would you give someone who wants to build their own personal brand or creative identity through audio? And, you know, this could be radio, podcasting, or, you know, we talked earlier about voiceover acting.
Okay. So something that I notice is that if you're like trying to build a personal brand, like just trying to build traction and people, if it depends on the direction you want to go in, but I kind of recommend talking about things that are newsy, reposting things that are newsy. Like if you wanted to do, I don't know, like a little bit of an opinion channel or something, and that's what you want your brand to be, like put that out there, kind of build the people, because people are talking about that right now in their lives. So they're going to see a video like that and interact like crazy with it. And that's just going to boost it up. Then you can veer off if you want to, but that always works if you're trying to do something like that. In general, though, it's trying to build that audience. That also kind of goes into creative marketing yourself. Like, how are you going to actually portray? So there's a lot of different ideas depending, I think, on like the realm of media or business you want to go into. But especially in the media like area that at least I know about, you need to talk about what's trending and what's on and you need to almost be in an exhausting rotation of knowing what that is. Like, and you need to be on it like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's how I've built like the audiences I've built online is talking about something that's happening here and now in a location that they know, tagging a location in there also. All of this sounds minor, but it's about posting. But that's what builds audiences. That's what builds people's brands up.
Especially if it's a news, like you said, news headline or article or something that's happening now. People are going to go online to search that, and then they could come across you, even if they've never even known of you before.
Sure. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, a name to a face, like on my TikTok when I posted pieces of my newscast. It was like crazy to hear. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're out there because you don't see anybody. All you see is the studio in front of you and the microphone like this, but that's it.
Yeah.
And the script, but that's it.
Now, has your on-air like voice and how you deliver changed over the years, or do you think you've stayed kind of consistent with that?
I think I've noticed things I don't like. I noticed things that have sounded better that I've tried recently that I want to stick with. That's important to kind of keep developing that to make it sound more natural. But at the beginning, I was more robotic, and now I'm a lot more loose. But for the longest time, I was really robotic. Like, just wanted to stick to it. Didn't want to kind of add my own vibe to it at all. Just kind of deliver the news and get out. You know, that's what people want to hear. They don't want to hear all that extra quirky stuff. Like, just get out. But now it's implemented where I think it works. I think it works. Maybe people don't think so, but I think it works. Sometimes I say something, I'm like, oh, I'm the first person to notice if it doesn't work out. Like, nope, don't say that again. Next.
Well, at least you have a lot of good
Yeah.
self-awareness and
You need to be. And you need to be actually, I don't want to give too much clout to this, but you do in a way have to be listening to what other people are saying in a way out there. If they're commenting and saying something, you sort of have to pay attention to that.
to a point.
To a point.
Yeah.
But if it's irrational, know when there's the filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take up the good stuff, let the rest drain out.
Right. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a balance because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you are the artist or you're the person who's creating that experience for
Yeah.
people, like whether it's listening to news or if you're a musician and whatnot. So you have to like you said, critique yourself. Like,
Yeah.
be like, okay, I like that, I didn't like that, and then be open to external feedback.
Sure.
But don't go so much for the external where they're trying to change you from where
Exactly.
you were.
Yeah, that's more difficult now more than ever, I think. So.
Yeah, and there's a million opinions. I mean, with all the social media platforms, I mean, you're on TikTok and there's LinkedIn and some people are on X and Facebook.
Some people are vicious.
Oh my gosh.
I'm seeing it now. Saw it a little bit a couple months ago too.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. So you have to learn how to develop somewhat of a thick skin to it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's because some people do it just to be mean.
Right.
You know.
Because they're miserable. So.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, someone's doing something nice. Well, F them or whatever,
Yeah.
and
They'll
forget them.
find a problem with it wherever they are. They're never happy. So.
Yeah.
Now, if you could go back to when you first started doing radio and everything, what would be one piece of advice that you would give your younger self now that you've been in the radio for so long?
I probably would have stayed in New York longer. Or I would have just applied myself more and networked more up there.
So, like,
I think I should have.
area.
I think my time was a little cut short. So, because I just would have made more connections, and nothing wrong with Philly, our city. Like, nothing wrong with it at all. Like, I love this place. I don't want to be in New York. I don't want to go back there, really. But I wish that I had just used more with what I had there. I'm just lucky that people remember me, so I haven't like left their minds or anything like that. But it's kind of a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I wish I had told my younger self, like, hey, just like try something else a little bit while longer up here. Then if you feel like you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maximize all the potential networking events and activities that you could have gone to up there.
Or now to repair that in a sense, go up and just go to some, visit up there, go to a few, stay the night, come back home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
It's
one
always
good
still
thing.
possible to still do. It's not hopeless or over, you know?
Yeah.
So
And that's the cool thing about our age nowadays is that you could go to New York, you can meet people, make some connections, and you can still stay connected via social media. And then sometimes there's things that you can do beyond just having to be with people face to face all the time too. You know, for instance, like we have the studio here, and you know, you do voice. Maybe you meet people in New York, and then you build your own like microphone and studio setup, and you can do voiceovers and send audio tracks to companies or everything in other places too. So there's always that idea and everything. So sky's the limit.
yeah, it really is. But it is kind of scary to apply yourself, but
You got it.
you have to try to.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all we have for today. Naomi, have any other questions?
No, that was my last one.
The last one? Okay.
All right.
So, Kate, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, my Instagram is private right now, but if you go on LinkedIn, I'm Kate Braunstein 96, like _96, like I'll be there. And then my Instagram is Kate Braunstein _. So I might just open it back up to the public again. I kind of miss that Instagram audience I used to have. Took a break, but you know. And then my TikTok is also my name with an _. So you'll be able to find it when you see KYW videos, or if you just go to KYW on TikTok, you'll see tagged reposts and stuff like that. So, yep.
Great. And I love how you kept your branding, Kate Braunstein, and then you had the
I
underscore.
just kept it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's easy for people to okay, cool. I can go to all these different platforms, and it's the same.
It's the same person.
Yep, same
and you know
person.
it's not like Sprinkles 97. You know, like also for people out there, keep your name stay consistent with it. Just don't move it around too much. People don't do it.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great episode with Kate. If you want to learn more and check out more of our content, visit us at www.23journeyscreative.com. I am your host, Thato Datsun, with my lovely co-host and wife, Naomi.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you all for joining us. Catch you later.